Or the Golden Knights going to shoot past the Sharks and become the second choice and the first choice in the West?
It's heading that direction. I mean, especially after that impressive performance last night. I watched that game, and that was one of the best games I've seen the Knights play this season, if not the last 2 years that they've been around. So they've got all the momentum with the addition of Stone right now. He's really got everyone's play up to a high level. So, if the Knights ended up playing San Jose in the first round, that series would probably be about pick 'em. But right now we got liability on the Sharks as we do the Knights in the futures, and we're holding steady at 6-1 on San Jose, 8-1 on the Knights, and they're the only teams that are in single digits for the Stanley Cup besides Tampa as a 9-4 favorite.
Where's Winnipeg?
We have Winnipeg at 12-1, and they're they haven't had the season that we expected on it. And the thing is, the Knights have a shot at, if they played Winnipeg in the conference final, having home ice advantage. They're not too many points behind them. So, there's a lot that can still happen here, even though the Knights aren't going to finish first or second in the division.
Yeah, so, I mean, earlier in the show, Dave was saying that he thought the Knights were the legitimate favorites to win the West right now. Do you, obviously the betting markets are going to show, they're going to reflect your liability as well as your opinion. But when it comes to your opinion, do you think the Golden Knights are the team to beat? Has the Stone Age changed everything?
I think they're the best team. The only thing you have to look at is the situation that they put themselves in about the third place in the Pacific Division, that they're not going to have the prices that equate to that at this point. But I think that they're the best team in the West right now, and if they were fortunate enough to play Tampa in the final, I think that'd be a tremendous final.
Let's head to the NBA. We've got some good matchups tonight. And check out the Warriors and Timberwolves. First, the Warriors coming off the loss last night in San Antonio. I don't think it means a whole lot to them, but, if they're in the mood to extract some punishment on somebody or just to, go out and whack somebody, they can do it to the Timberwolves.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is which Warrior team is going to show up, the one that takes it seriously or the one that is just going through the motions. And, they had a couple nice wins last week, and last night they kind of went through the motions. And DeMarcus Cousins is out again tonight, but back-to-back situation for Golden State. The public's really supporting the Warriors here. Warriors is a 6.5-point favorite.
I know, with Golden State being, I believe they're dead last in the Lakers are dead last. I think the Warriors
Against
might be 29th, in the NBA against the spread. Have you seen any reduction in the public love for Golden State, or the fact that they're the two-time defending champs just means that they're going to get public money just about every time they play?
Well, the reduction that we see is in their home games when they're laying large numbers, but when they're on the road laying short numbers as they did yesterday and as they are today, the public really sides with them, so it doesn't stop them when they're a short road favorite.
The Lakers and the Bucks look like a great matchup when the NBA scheduled it for the TV game tonight. And then
Once upon a time
next thing you know,
yeah.
the Lakers started to stink, and then LeBron said, I'm out, and then Giannis said, I'm out, and the next thing you know, you have a Lakers-Bucks game that has kind of lost its luster a little bit. What are you seeing action-wise right now as L.A. travels to Milwaukee?
Yeah, this is more like the South Bay Lakers playing the Milwaukee Bucks. So it really is. And, we opened this line Milwaukee 12. It shot up to 14 when LeBron was announced out, and now it's come back all the way back down to Milwaukee minus 11 with Giannis and a couple other friends that are missing the game. So, Milwaukee obviously has a motivation to win, going for the 1 seed in the East and overall in the NBA. The Lakers, without LeBron, without Ingram, without Ball, it's just a tough situation for them. So, it's been back and forth. The public, we're getting some public play on the Lakers outright just because of Giannis not playing. But at the same time, we're getting some play minus 11 with the thinking that the Bucks need to win.
And I want to ask you about Milwaukee real quick, because they just suffered what I consider to be an impact injury in Malcolm Brogdon. A guy who's been their defensive stopper on the wing, D and 3. He's been phenomenal in that role for them all season. Brogdon's not a guy that moves the needle at all from a point spread perspective. Are you anticipating people catching up with that info and downgrading Milwaukee a little bit, or has it just been, just Bucks love all the time, doesn't matter, that they're a little bit banged up right now?
Yeah, it's we're not seeing it in the marketplace. Like you said, Brogdon doesn't move the needle there, but we saw it in the results when they played against the 76ers the other day. The 76ers dominated that game, and I think Milwaukee's going to have some more trouble into the playoffs. Now, Brogdon's out 6 to 8 weeks, so we'll see at what point he gets back. But right now, as far as a betting standpoint, it really hasn't made any difference to how the games are being bet.
two of the better stories in the NBA this year. And look, they're not going to. One of them won't make the playoffs. The other one probably won't last that long. But the Nets and Kings have both been, I think, pleasant surprises this season.
Moneymakers.
Pretty good basketball game tonight between two teams still trying to win games. Both are on the 500 mark, and this could be a good one tonight.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the most entertaining game of the evening. It's got a high total at 233.5, which the public's betting over. Like you mentioned, these are two teams on the rise. They're two young teams that have bright futures ahead of them. So this should be an entertaining one, a up and down pace, and we took a sizable wager over 233 on this. We're at 233.5 on the total right now.
Well, it's not the true get-back game. That's Dayton, Colorado, late night in NIT action. But nonetheless, it's the final game on the card in the NBA for tonight. We have the Pacers, who've been slumping a little bit, traveling to face the Clippers.
About time the Pacers slumped, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Well, really, I mean, you lose your best guy, you're supposed to start feeling it at some point.
And it took a while, but a lot of that, I think, was schedule-related. Now the schedule is toughened for Indiana, and they're going through their fair share of growing pains, barely hanging on to that 4 seed, which I don't think they're going to hang on to when all's said and done. But Pacers at the Clips tonight. Clips, another team the betting markets haven't shown a ton of respect for lately. What kind of action are you seeing at Superbook USA?
Yeah, we opened the Clippers as a 5-point home favorite. Been Indiana money so far. We're down to Clippers minus 4.5, and this is a real intriguing game as far as the standings go. With just as you mentioned, the Pacers are sitting in the 4 hole right now, just a couple games behind Philly and 1 game ahead of Boston, and at the same time, the Clippers are in the 8th spot. But there's a whole a grouping of teams with San Antonio, Oak City, Utah, right there for the Clippers. So both these teams are really fighting for position. But Indiana started out 0-2 on their West Coast trip, and they're getting the support as an underdog role here.
Tonight, the NCAA tournament gets underway with a couple of play-in games. We talked a little bit about Fairleigh Dickinson taking on Prairie View. The game that will generate more action certainly will be Belmont against Temple, which is a nice matchup. What's the action look like on these two play-in games?
Well, we've seen some public play on Fairleigh Dickinson over Prairie View. We opened the line pick'em. It's been bet up to 2 by the public. I've seen sharp play on the total under. We opened 150, and it's been down to 149 right now. As far as Belmont Temple, we opened this one 3.5, 156. We're at 3 and 156, and the sharps have been siding with Temple plus the points.
As far as the Thursday and Friday stuff goes, anything major in terms of stances being taken by bettors?
Yeah, from a sharp perspective, the two that really stand out is Vermont. We've taken some money plus 11 and plus 10 against Florida State. That line's currently Florida State minus 9, and the sharps are really fading Kansas too. We opened Kansas 8.5 against Northeastern. That line's all the way down to 6.5 now. So those are the two standout moves.
All right, let's talk a little golf. The Valspar, I should say, preview, and I circled Patrick Reed, who's playing solid golf, and this looks like a course that might be good for him. And I'm not saying he's going to win the tournament, but at 20-1, I thought he was the best value.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's almost a week after a major, after the Players' Championship, and what we saw with Rory's win last week. But Dustin Johnson's the headliner here at 11-2. John Rahm and Jason Day at 10-1, and then it goes up from there. These prices are somewhat short to me, but it's not that strong of a field. And this is an iron play course, just as you mentioned. Reed, Paul Casey, Jim Furyk coming off a near win last week. So it's that type of golfer you want to look for.
Well, anybody stand out to you as being offering some value, perhaps deeper in the field?
The only one I supported, I played one outright this week. I played Joaquin Neiman at 100-1, and this is a type of course that he has a chance on. He struggled a lot this year, but the courses really didn't suit him, and I think that normally he'd be about 60-1 if he had any kind of form. So I think there's some value in triple digits there.
We're talking, of course, with Jeff Sherman at Golf Odds on Twitter.com. But golf isn't your only deal. Soccer is certainly something that you know a lot. What soccer match are we talking about this week?
Well, the domestic leagues are all off. We have international play, so there's Euro 2020 qualifiers going on abroad, and then international friendlies everywhere else. So I had to pick from the international friendly side, and we have Ecuador at the USA on Thursday night. The U.S. is a half a goal favorite, plus 120, total of 2.5 under 40. And I would expect to see the youth movement to continue for the U.S. side and try to see who's going to be ready for qualifying over the next couple of years.
If you're in the mood to watch baseball, head down to the Superbook at about 2:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
Because the first game of the season, Seattle and Oakland, get things started. And, look, if it's an event, it's on those big screens at the Superbook. I mean, it's just a great place to watch the games. It's the one place where visitors to Las Vegas, they just have to check it out when they're coming in for the main events like the Super Bowl or for March Madness. It's going to be crazy there this weekend.
Oh, there's no doubt. And we'll have that game up on ESPN at 2:30 a.m. tonight. The betting line's already up for that, and we have the A's $1.25 favorite against Seattle plus 115, total at 8.5 on that. So get your regular season baseball action as long as the preseason that's going on too, and we'll be leading right into the chaos this week.
And by the way, no surprise, Ichiro, with the game being in Japan, Ichiro will be in the starting lineup for the Mariners. I think he'll probably be playing both games.
And MLB knows how to do it right with that 2:30 a.m. opening day on the March Madness week. Let's find how many different ways we can have our opening day get overshadowed. Oh, goodness.
Hey, it's going to be big in Japan.
Yeah.
Well, it's gigantic over there. Not sure what that means over here. Anything else we want to touch on, Jeff?
Well, we just got up the women's college basketball futures right now, and we got Baylor the 9-5 favorite, Notre Dame 2-1, and I'd say for the first time in years going into this tournament, UConn 7-2.
Wow!
When they're usually minus money going into the tournament, so not the favorite this time going into Friday's start.
I don't follow women's college basketball at all. I mean.
UConn's the number 2 seed. That's all I know.
I saw that though. It's like, wow, this is that's really
way
shocking. No, seriously, it's just that. When's the last? Does anybody know when the last time that happened was?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that, but they're still favored over Louisville to come out of that region. Louisville's the 1 seed in their region, but UConn is still the third choice overall at 7-2 odds to win the title.
Yeah, that's only going to make UConn mad.
It is.
It's probably, right.
And you asked me, when was the last time they weren't a number 1 seed? Whatever year you give me, I'm taking the over.
It was like 1920 or something.
Yeah, I'll still take the over.
They
were number 1 seed in 1908.
Yeah, it's probably going. Look, I mean, I don't know anything about this. I could almost say it's back to when Pat Summitt was still coaching at Tennessee, and that's a long time ago. So,
yeah, I'm sure it was pre-Gina Auriemma.
I would think so. All right, Jeff, great stuff as always. We'll keep following you on Twitter for the latest updates on the odds on various items at the Superbook. And for those who don't have an account yet, get down there, open it up. It's a lot easier to bet these big events, and especially when they're spread out across the day. You don't have to worry about standing in line. The whole process takes like 7 minutes.
Oh, it's so quick, and we just put up a ton of props for the tournament, too. And you can look through those on the app without having an account and come down and avoid the lines this week.
There you go. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thanks, guys.
We will come back, and we'll get to our Joe's Angle of the Day, and then a little baseball talk. Clear Data Sports, Mark Borchard. Always like to talk to Mark at this time of year. He's got some over and under win props that he likes. And Clear Data Sports is an absolutely fabulous model. I use it throughout the season. I'll tell you why when we come back.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
I'm with Cliff Miller from MJ Christensen at Boca Park. Cliff, I'm an old guy. I got some old jewelry. Any ideas what I can do with it?
Oh, absolutely. One of our largest categories is custom design. My son Rusty does it all. And it's the most incredible thing to see styles that are 30, 40 years old that people haven't worn in years and see what he creates out of those diamonds, precious gems, and that metal. And you will be sparkling and feel top of the world when you leave MJ Christensen.
MJ Christensen, located at Boca Park.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting down there tomorrow night. My buddy Jason Brinks is coming in town. In fact, he'll be joining us in the studio tomorrow. And he wants to head to Joe's. Perfect the night before the main event with March Madness really kicking off on Thursday. So I think why not? We'll make a reservation by calling 702-792-9222. You can do the same. What's the Joe's Angle of the Day? Courtesy of Ralph Michaels, who is across the hall right now. I just saw him stroll in to, I guess, get ready for the podcast.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the Nets and the Kings as being a very entertaining game for tonight. Well, Joe's angle today says you don't want to be betting the over in this game. Sacramento, 14-2-1 to the under.